So here we have part number 1. Here is the program. We hit edit so I can show you the program. First line, bend 0, we feed 828 to the pinch point. Then 112 for the pre-bend, we come back 200, about 8 inches. Then 85, we release a little bit and we go out to 10 to get the part out. Then we move to 336 for the bending position. That gives us enough time to take the part and reverse it and hold it ready to feed again. And then in the last one, we go back to bending value of 10, feed 0, so that we are ready for the next program relatively quick. In order to run a program, all we need to do is we shift it to auto. We hit the green button until we see the light. When the green light comes, then you see here, we went to bending position 0. This is how we start. The pinch point, I set at 5.6 for this material, and it does roll better in the center than on the side. On the side, it wants to always curl on me, and you can see that in here. I bent all kinds of heelys in there with the first 3 parts, until then I switched to here. So, the trick here is you need to really kind of feel where you are square against the roll, right? And you can feel it pretty good. Then you hit the forward button and it feeds all the way in until it just reaches the pinch point here. Very good. See, now it goes up to that 112 and it makes the pre-bend. Okay, it comes down a little bit again, it feeds it out. I catch it with my hand, right? I have it in my hand now. And while it goes to the next bending position, I'm just holding this here. And then as it is ready, it'll take that part and it'll roll all the way around. And as it comes around, you want to have your finger a little bit on it so you don't double roll it. So now you have finished it. And now the roller goes back again to the 0 position so that you're ready for your next program. So you stay on the foot pedal. The moment you release your foot, the program will just halt. So now, if you are lucky, see, we have too much pressure because it is rolled so precisely that both ends are underneath the roll. So now I need to turn this handle here, and I need to release just a few millimeters, just a little bit. I'm going to 6.4. Then I can pull this handle out, bring the roller forward. It comes really easy. And here you have your part. You see, I overbent it a little bit. I didn't roll it over the top, remember. It just has a little bit of tension. And what that does for me, I need to put, you can already see basically how well it sits in the template, how round it is. I'm gonna put this camera down for a second. I'm gonna put it over here. So, now, see, I put it down and it follows that inside contour super clean. This is where we started to pre-bend. We could, you see, with just a little bit of force, it adheres very nicely to that perfect radius, right? No banging, no nothing. It follows that radius all the way around. And now it comes to the outside. Why does it come to the outside? Because, my friends, your blank is a little bit too long for this template. Or maybe I have the wrong template, but that seems to be the one that goes with that. I can try another one. So anyway, and I have written all the data for the program there. That's all you need to know, those few numbers. Then you have a program for around. And you need to know distances, of course, a little bit. And I can write those, like the pre-bend is at 112 is minus 200 millimeter, the bend 337 because it goes forward all the way through. I take it 840, and that's a little bit peculiar because this blank is about 840 millimeter long, but in order for it to pinch, I only go 828 millimeters in to keep the pinch still going. So anyway, that is part number. You see I rolled a couple of that. That's part number 4 and part number 5. Part number 1, 2, 3 are right here. I won't return those. But basically that's all I had to do to develop that program, and I am pretty happy with that. And as you can see from the top, it is nice round from end to end. Okay, thank you very much. And I'll move on to the next part. Here I am showing you how much overlap I have about in order to get rid of this additional material. I tried it on this template with the 2 dots. That's even smaller. That's not going to work. So I think you can easily make that blank shorter by 1/8 of an inch and you should be fine. Probably 3/16 probably would be a little bit too much. Somewhere 0120, 0140, and this should be coming out really, really nice. You wouldn't have to change anything in the program. Maybe the pinch, if you make the blank shorter by 120,000, you want to get that 828 down to 825. Okay, here we are on to the next part, the longer version of this. And all I did is I copied the old program and I went from 112 for the pre-bend to 107 for the pre-bend. And just so that you can see this here, maybe a point less. We have a little bit of air in between, but with aluminum, like I say, the ever so slightest pressure will make that lay right against there. This is like less than 40 thousandths of a gap in here. It gets pretty finicky. So we already know that we have our pre-bending value very well. And now I went, in the bending value, I went from 337 down to 325. The bending values are always a lot more. Why? Very simple. Because, so now we're going back to the pre-bend. Because, and I'll show you that in a moment when I'll pause the program. So when the part comes out, the bending happens between the bending roller and the pre-bending roller. It is already curved, of course, so that position for the bending roll needs to be way, way higher to apply the same force onto the piece as it has when it comes in from the back and it is pushing against the flat side of the material. So now we go forward and we want to check that we don't have a flat spot between the bending and the pre-bending. This comes around nice. I'm way too tight. I need way less. So my 325 on the bend side must be much lower. Probably I will go next to 315. This is my third part for the larger rectangle. And so now we have it down pretty good. Everything comes out. I'm going to fine tune the numbers a little bit, but here you can see how much too large that blank is. I mean, we have, I would say, a good 1/4 inch, probably 5/16 in there. I don't think it's 3/8. I can measure it, but we should note that this is always going to be difficult when you need to develop the blank to the correct size. So, and I don't know why that blank is so long. Maybe your other rolling process stretched the material out a little bit less than this, or I'm really not sure. Or maybe you want an overlap to weld it. That could also be. In this case, yeah, you need to leave it oversized and that's fine. Yeah, I'm a little puzzled anyway. So, but this is what that is. So with this last part, we have hit the radius already a little bit. So we are at the overlap that we just have too much material. But for whatever reason, it's bending a little bit tighter at the end. That can sometimes happen when it's work hardening. And I also want to show you another trick. So one thing that I have done here is, and I will go back in here and we'll go edit. Real quick, I go a few lines back. So this bend, instead of running 307 for 950, I'm only running 307 for 800 millimeter. And then I am running 1 point less for another 50 millimeter here. And I'm going down another point for 50 millimeter. And I'm going down another point for 50 millimeter. And then I bring it to my last bend. So that just gradually releases it a little bit over the last 6 inches of the part. And let's see if that makes a better fit. So we go back to auto with our green button until we see the light. The bend is at 0, we are ready to start. And I also want to show you another trick at the end of the program that will eliminate you having to open the pinch to take the part out. So we are going in. We're going in all the way to the pinch. The back roller is coming up. And we are rolling backwards. The back roller is coming down a little bit. And we are rolling forward. I hold my part. Now the back roller is coming up for the bend position, and I'm just waiting here, ready for it to come in. There we go, we are coming around. Now that we have a better bend radius where it doesn't bend so tight, what you want to do is, see here it stops, it repositions. I mean, it's more time this way, but it may be, see, now I'm holding this out where it doesn't go into the pinch. So this end is loose still, right? The back roller is coming down, and now because the back already rolled out and the front never rolled in, it is free. I can stay with a pinch, as you see, 5.6, and I can just open up as is and take my part out. Now we are coming to these shapes, which I didn't anticipate at all. And of course, you have changing cross-section. You have a very narrow cross-section here, and you have a very large cross-section here. And in addition, is these parts and even these parts are too narrow to really rest on the rolls. So this portion will mainly stay straight. It's going to be very difficult to put an edge rounding in here, especially with those a little bit larger rolls. In essence, it is exactly the same program as the longer rectangles, which is why, so I ran the same program, exactly the same program, and the part came out open. Why? Because of course the radius in the small cross section is pretty much the same, but the radius in the larger cross sections is going to be more open. So overall, the part was more open. Then I increased the points. Simply, I believe I did 4 points on the pre-bend and 7 points on the bend. And immediately the part came out, like I say, if you hold it, it's a little cocked. But it all by itself, it naturally just sits there and without any force basically is there. And again, you see that your blank is a little bit too large, right? So the bottom actually complies pretty good to the radius. Again, you are a little bit over here. You are a tad under here, but not bad overall. And again, you're a little bit over here. And then it fits. Move this around so that I can go this way. Then it actually fits very nicely here. So it's more that we are overbending here than anything. And then you have a little bit of funk going on here, but not bad either. Again, overall you have a little bit of air because the blank should be a tad shorter. I would say this one about 1/8 of an inch should do. Would make a better part. So basically immediately the first parts came out and are usable. Even this is usable. If you wanted to simply push this step, you can totally weld that. Then here, you just need to go like this and weld it, and it'll be a good part. Okay, So no reason to throw that away. So that is that program, and I'll roll a part for you right now so that you can see what that looks like. And hopefully I will get it straighter this time. So the first thing I need to do is I close the roll. The beauty of this, you can do this with one hand. And this is also, by the way, the reason why I'm able to take a video while I'm running parts. So then again, we go on the green button. The green button goes light as soon as we hit 0 here. That's the home position. The green button is simply to bring it home. And this is also why in the last step, I make this program always go back to 10 so that we are close to the home position. And you will also notice here that this is program 3, step 1. So what I did is I copied program number 2 over to number 3 and made a separate program number 3 because the values of course are different. Our pinch point at 5.6 is still the same because the material is the same. Again here, you need to find the edge where you're solidly against it. You can see that I'm a little bit to the right side of the center because I'm catching the wider parts of the part also. So we're going back again to the pinch. It's nice and tight in there. Now the roller is coming up and it is pre-bending out. I kept the pre-bend short at 120 because I think this will work better. So this is all we are having in the pre-bend here. And then I put the part, whoops, excuse my poor camera skills. Again, you want to be nice and square against here. And then it takes that part away and it comes around. And I make sure that the end doesn't go in. And that part just wants to twist a little bit. So again, I'm sure that I have the end loose. The back roller goes down. The program goes back down all the way to 10. And stops right there. That's the finish of the program. And then all I need to do here is open this, take the part out. And again, this was what I was talking about before. This one is a tad more open. This one you are going to fight a little bit in order to keep it straight because we need to determine basically where the middle of the roller is. Maybe I'll roll one more and we could even give it a tad more, just close it up a little bit more. I'm never sure with customers whether they prefer to have the parts a little bit open or whether they prefer to have the parts more closed. That depends on your welding process and how you clamp your parts. Of course, that we can quickly control by changing just some values. Okay, for now I will try to close that up a little bit more. So we're going here to 0. That brings you into the programming mode. It's program number 3. We are hitting the edit button. We are in line number 6, so we are going back lines 5. That's the last, that's a 314 here. I'm going to change that to 316. Okay, hit enter. And then we are going further up with the lines. That's the intermediate step where it comes out backwards again. So in here we are at 103. I'm going to increase it. I may actually leave that the way it is. I don't know that we need anything there. I think we just need something on the bend. I think with a pre-bend we'll be fine. Okay, so we go back to auto. We hit our green button until it is light. And we close our roll. Take one of those interesting big parts. And maybe what I will do is I will feed it again smack in the center. Maybe that is better where that base strip is located. That takes a little bit of experimenting, obviously. from these videos also you get a little bit of a sense of the cycle time to run a part, right? Obviously your operator doesn't need to do all the talking that I'm doing. You notice something is you don't really have to catch the part. It'll just hang back there. So you have time to go and get it. So now I'll put that back in the center here, see if that makes the alignment better. And off we go. It does. I like that alignment a lot better. Nice crown. So. Let's see. So this, I don't even know where to go with this here. So you see the alignment is already a little bit better here. Not perfect, but it is closed up a little bit more. So this is what you want. You can see just with my fingers, I'm holding it like this, and it'll close up. And it is very, very reasonable round and end to end here, this entire part. So, and I will do the same process for the little part. So we are putting the pre-bend side here, nice and straight. It's two-hand, it's easier to apply pressure and to get it straight. Mess on me. Okay, here we go. Pre-bending, coming up, going back. Like I said, when the part goes out, you don't need a hurry. You can just let it hang there. Grab it, and while that roller goes into the next position, you find a good position here. And off it goes. Of course, hands out, gentlemen. Always. I'll say a little bit about the safety. Again, you see, I keep that free here. You let the roller come down. So now we are ready for the beginning of the next program. We don't need to change our pinch. Consistent pinch is very, very important. And see now with those bending values, we are getting very, very close to where we have very little overlap, and I'm reasonably straight if I do it with two hands. If I snap this together, I am going to be right where I want to be. Okay, there you go. Nice and round. Reasonably round. It's not going to be perfectly round. Again, you're going to be overbent here, you're going to be underbent here where you have large cross sections, right? And you almost get nothing here on this tab, and you practically have nothing on that tab. If you want to bend those, you need to pre-bend those on a press brake on a special tool. Okay, and this is your small crown, right? Should be good. This is your program number 4. Thank you. More. Again, you have to go to the beginning. So your total cycle time is just slightly under 1 minute, with loading and unloading probably a minute. So your 50 parts a week, you should be able to do in 1 hour on this machine, nice and consistently, repeatedly. Here you have it again. Like I say, I have a little bit of a twist in. You can easily take that out once you weld it, and then you go from there.